Hi everyone, I'm Annelise at the Shaker Heights Public Library, and here are a handful of my favorite books for kids in grades 3 to 5. First up is The Adventures of Wally, The Day I Faced the Snake, by 2 local authors and even a local illustrator. So this is a very Cleveland book, except that it actually takes place in a small village in Senegal. And it's a true story from one of the authors. You'll see his name, Wally, about when he was a kid. So just like you might have jobs around the house, like helping with the dishes or taking care of a pet, Wally's job was to take the farm animals out of their pen and watch them and keep track of them, make sure they were safe as they grazed during the day. Grazing is like eating. And then bringing them back safe and putting them back in their pen where they would stay overnight. One day, Wally is bringing the animals back and something's wrong. And the animals are not happy, they're scared, they run away, and Wally sees that there's a huge snake right by the entrance of the pen, and he does not know what to do to get rid of the snake and how to find all the animals that ran away scared. And he's so worried he's gonna get in trouble, but he talks to one of his best friends and he comes up with a plan and he saves the day. My next pick is an informational or a non-fiction book, and it's called The Toad. It's part of a series called Disgusting Critters. I don't think toads are disgusting, but some people do, I guess. This is an informational book that has lots of pictures, and it almost reads like a picture book or a comic book, but it still gives you facts about toads with the help of this funny, smart-talking toad that guides you through the whole story. And so if you like it, if you like the style that it's in, you're learning stuff, but it doesn't feel like you're like in class at all or like doing homework. It's really fun, and if you like it, you can learn about all the other critters in the series, like cockroaches and worms and spiders and lice. Fascinating stuff. This book is a Bachelor Award winner, which is an award given every year for children's literature in translation into English. The author wrote it in Dutch, but it takes place on the Greek island of Corfu. I loved reading this book because it was a glimpse into a whole different part of the world, once again, a whole different culture and landscape and lifestyle. It's about this boy, Mikis, who lives with his grandparents, who really kind of falls in love with this sweet donkey his grandpa buys to be a working animal. But he doesn't like seeing Saki, the donkey, being worked so hard, and he kind of stands up for her and takes her on as a pet, and becomes pretty famous around his village for being the kid who takes care of that donkey and is so good with that animal. So if you've ever had a pet that you really loved and you really helped out, then I think you'll appreciate Mikis. And if you like to imagine other places and see what school is like in other places and what daily life is like in other places, then I think you will enjoy this book. I did. This is a really wacky sci-fi adventure called How to Sell Your Family to the Aliens, and it reminds me a lot of books by Roald Dahl. This is newer, but it's also got some real mean grown-ups, some really clever kids, and some just bizarre things going on that the kid has to get through. Hap Conklin Jr. is the son of a wonderful inventor. But unfortunately, his grandma, his dad the inventor's mom, is very mean and conniving, and she takes all his inventions and sells them for a profit, and she lives in a big mansion but makes his whole family live in the basement and be her servants. So, after Hap figures out how to infiltrate Grandma's network, how to get past some spies and mercenaries and use one of her inventions against her to send her away to the aliens, he does, but he makes a big mistake and sends the whole family. So then he has to go in outer space, and he has to figure out a way to get them back. Next up is a book from a long time ago in a whole different country, where it is a children's classic. This is the New York Review Children's Collection version of The Little Witch by Otfried Preußler. It was written in the 1950s in Germany, and it's remained in print. It's about, guess who? The little witch and her best friend and familiar, a raven named Abraxas. They live together in a little cottage in the woods, and once a year on Walpurgisnacht, all the witches gather to dance on this one mountain. And she goes, but she's younger and she's littler and she's less experienced, and all the other witches do not want her to be there. They think she's too young and she doesn't know enough. So they tell her, go home and be really good all year, and then maybe you can come back. So this book is the whole year that she spends being actually really good, not a mean witch casting spells on people to hurt them or trick them necessarily, but she uses her skills in a new way to help people who are bullied, to help people who are suffering for many different reasons. Each chapter is a new little adventure where she kind of learns something new and how to be a good little witch. But you have to read the whole book to see how things work out in the end when she comes back a year later and has to confront those mean old witches again. This is another really funny book. I thought it was funny. And it's got a few fun pictures too. It's a little bit thicker of a chapter book, but it's not super hard. This is a wacky tale about a family of hyenas. Now, looking at this picture, you may notice something is strange about these hyenas. They're wearing clothes and sitting on a couch. Well, that's because they used to be regular hyenas out in the wild until some tourists came by and left their belongings alone, and they got an idea, hey, why don't we put these clothes on, grab these passports, and go live in England? So they do, and they live in a regular house, and they have regular lives and jobs and go to school and have friends, but their secret is that they're not actually humans, they're hyenas. And they have to fight to protect their secret from especially one very nosy, suspicious neighbor who turns out has a secret of his own. That might sound suspenseful, but it's actually also a really fun book, and because they're hyenas, they love to laugh, and they have some really great jokes. Our next book is called Hoodoo, and as you can maybe tell from the cover, it's a little bit scary. Well, actually, I'm a grown-up, and I thought it was kind of a lot scary, but everyone's different. It's definitely for kids on the upper age range of the 3rd to 5th grade reading levels. So Hoodoo takes place in the 1930s in the American South, and it is the name of our main character, Hoodoo Hatcher. He has that name because when he was born, his parents thought there's something special about this boy. This boy has special power. And it's not otherwise a big part of his life. He doesn't think he has special powers, but then this stranger comes to town. And this stranger is looking for a boy who has some special powers. And whenever they describe the stranger, or when Hoodoo can start sensing the stranger and his scary magic, it sent chills down my spine. But the rest of the time, once again, you get another glimpse into a whole different time and place. and you get to know Hoodoo and his grandma, who's wonderful, loving, and protective, and knows a little bit about what's going on. So Hoodoo has to work to come into his own, to learn about his inner power and how he can protect himself and his town and his family from the stranger. I wouldn't read that at night. My last special pick is a graphic novel that has at least one other book in the series. It's called Lowriders in Space. And if you're not familiar, a lowrider is a car like this, though they don't usually ride through space. This one does. They're cars that are customized to ride really low to the ground. And they're also customized to look super cool, really original, and they're often made out of classic cars. So if you like cars, this is a good one. It stars 3 mechanics who are animals and are really good friends who want to have their own garage. And so they enter a contest to make the most cool, unique, interesting lowrider they can. And so they outfit this lowrider not just to be a really cool lowrider, but also to be able to fly in outer space. And that's just what they do. It's got some really awesome illustrations. And it's got lots of words in Spanish. So you don't just read the book in English, you also get to learn some new vocabulary and improve your Spanish skills. Call us at the Shaker Public Library and we can help you find these. We can help you place holds for curbside pickup, and we can also help you sign up and log your reading for the summer reading program. Stay safe. See you soon.